Here we go again. Welcome to today's podcast. I have two guests from Lamor. The first one is Magnus Miemois. Magnus has just joined Lamor beginning of the year and is their new COO. Magnus has over 25 years of experience from a global business in marine and energy industries. And Magnus has also been involved in driving business growth through digitalization. So, welcome, Magnus.
Yeah, so it's true. I'm a fresh Lamorian, just with a very short while in the company so far. Started here now from beginning of the year, so in a CEO capacity. But yes, as you said, I have quite a long experience in business leadership, sales leadership in international business, mainly in the marine sector and in the energy sector.
Yes.
And yes, I've seen how digitalization can not only drive business growth, but also drive customer satisfaction. So, cards well played and efforts put in the right spots. It's all good.
All right. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And my other guest today is Nico Larsen, who's one of the main shareholders and CIO of Lamor, and also a co-founder of a company called Hailo. Nico is on a mission to free people from boring and chaotic side of business, so that people can, choose where they work, when they work, how to work on, and so on. And welcome, Nico.
Yeah, that's my mission.
That's kind of a mission, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually comes down to quite simple things.
Yeah.
One is to give people the freedom of choice to select when they work as much as possible, what they work on, so they can pick up work when they are capable and full of energy.
Yeah.
as well as understand why they are part of something bigger and why their work is important. So I feel like a lot of people today don't understand. They're just a part of the bigger machine, and they're performing daily tasks.
I guess they don't feel that individuals matter on a bigger picture.
Not
what do you
only
think?
that, also they don't understand how they fit into the bigger picture. They sort of just perform mechanical tasks on a repetitive basis, and and of course they know. I mean, why they work in a company, but the mechanics of everything is something that I find that is quite a big question mark to a lot of people, like how their daily routines fit into the stuff that the person in the cubicle next door has.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And in bigger organizations, I would say this is even more emphasized. And you take a large global organization where people cannot, drink coffee together on a daily basis. Then this feeling, I would say, is not uncommon at all. So So transparency is.
How would you as a leaders encourage people to see opportunity to grow and instead of just challenges?
Well, I think when you talk about change, we always say that we don't like to change. We want change, but we don't want to go through the process of change in a way.
Yeah.
So we want something better, but then again, going through that change process is somehow difficult. And we, as human beings, we tend to like what we know, and new things might be unknown and therefore a little bit frightening, right?
Yeah.
But then again, people are different. Some people are more curious and get immediately energized when there's an opportunity to do something different, do something new. Others may need to take their time. But I would say, as a leader, to encourage people to explore and see how they can benefit either new technology or new tools, new ways of working, or anything new for that matter. Seek new wisdom and adapt that to their work.
Because I guess the digitalization nowadays is changing the way we work.
It does, yeah.
So it's totally different than, say, 20 or 30 or 40, 50 years ago.
Sure.
So we need to adapt, I guess, to change the way we work.
And I would even say not only adapt in a reactive way, but also seek the opportunity to to be in the forefront. I would claim that this is a competitive edge of sorts, that the ones that can adapt quickly what, for example, new technology brings, or understand what the customer wants, then has a competitive advantage. So you could say our ability to learn and transform and develop has a strong correlation with our possibilities for business success.
Yeah. One thing that also I noticed a lot is that you cannot buy a new technology, and then it will magically save you and take you to the next level. It's understanding that new technology, be it whatever, and then see how you can adapt it to your business and how you can make your business better. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people who sort of believe that you can buy this magic bullet and then everything will be better. Whereas really, you need to fully engage the people, which I'm not the best actually at. I'm too impatient. But you need the whole team to be on board. Otherwise, the new tool will just be a burden and something that will never fly. And this is something that I think a lot of companies are struggling with.
Yeah, so you need to get people on board and start using the new technologies and maybe see the upside of using them.
Yeah.
So that they really gain on something using them.
And while of course often when you take something new, you embrace a new way of working, you take a new technology, a new tool, whatever it is, it often means leaving something of the old behind. So there's some sort of an unlearning element as well in the learning curve.
Yeah.
Then in my experience, I've seen where there's been too much focus on breaking with the past. Kind of like you hear leaders say, well, forget everything that you used to do, that's old now. But and that's not very motivating way I found for people, because it essentially says, well, everything you do know and everything knowledge you have acquired is not worth anything anymore. And in reality that's hardly ever the case unless you have some really quick sort of almost disruptive type of a change process. But in most cases, we still need the knowledge we have today, but we need to start building the new. So it's a more focus on what we are gonna learn rather than cutting the old. In my opinion, is a more let's say motivating way to go through the change process.
But how do you guys see the automation process of because robots are coming, they are here and they are doing a lot of the jobs that used to be done by people. So how do you guys see will there be a role for humans in the future? How do you see the robots taking over, as they say in the movies, so to speak?
So robots will never take over fully. I mean, what's happening is that boring, trivial, repetitive mechanical work gets automated, also in the office environment.
Yeah,
that's what's happening at the moment. But when you're talking about decision making, of course, you can read about how AI makes better decisions than humans in certain areas.
Yeah, I guess some people think that they do, but I'm not sure if it's really
but if you talk about the dynamic operation, where you have a lot of moving parts, it's of course theoretically you could automate everything, but the world is too complex to really automate.
Yeah,
I mean maybe someday, but I don't think any of us will be around when humans are irrelevant.
Yeah,
and when talking about digitalization in general, I mean human interaction and understanding a client's true needs and stuff like that is something you can never digitalize. I mean, face-to-face meetings, I mean, that's never going to be replaced by something on a computer screen or virtual reality or anything. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, human interaction has so many levels.
Yeah, because I guess we've had teleconference many years now, and it still hasn't changed the way we meet people.
No.
I guess it has changed a bit that we don't travel that much during, let's say, the Nordics. We can have teleconference, video calls and such, but still at the same time, like Nico said, it's important to see people face to face.
Yeah.
And the bigger the deal is, let's say on the business side, I guess it's all done face to face anyway.
I mean, business is built on trust. That's eventually what you want, especially in sales. You want to gain trust. And then when you have the trust, you can start to discuss business. And you can't gain the trust in a meeting room. That's done over dinners, that's done over doing sports together, whatever the thing may be. And you can't have like you play some video game together and then you meet in a video conference.
People might disagree with you, Nico.
People might disagree. But
we'll just have a fight of CS during the night, and then we'll do business together. I guess that's also something that's gonna change when the millennials, or what do you call them, the younger generation is gonna take over, so to speak. It's gonna change, of course, because they are using a lot of those, games and such, as you just said. But still, I guess the face-to-face is never gonna go away.
In the working environment, it's not necessarily a question about that we will have this or that, that the robot will take over or people will do it. But it's more on a task specific and specific activities. And take again now, you talked about human interaction and building trust. And if I think back, I've done actually quite many job interviews when I've been hiring people over video conference. But I can also maybe see that it was not, it didn't go all the way to the decision, right? It was more in the screening stage. Then when you're in the final shortlist, then that's when the face-to-face time needs to come into the picture. But when you're dealing with a longer list or more screening in the process, then it's a very effective tool. Same thing in sales. It's not the way that you would develop a new customer or find a new customer relationship, but for an existing relationship, you might very well take care of certain routine things. Maybe not negotiate the deal, but when you basically have the deal, you might actually use it for hammering out terms and conditions or something more mechanical that needs to be done, and you need the time together. But it's not about building trust, or it's more like a mechanical step of tasks that you just need to go through.
I used to actually work for an IT company where my boss was Danish, and he interviewed me to teleconference. And I worked for the company around 2 years, and I never met the guy.
Okay.
We had weekly, or say 2 to 3 times per week, a video call, but I never met the guy because we never changed path when we had these company dinners or something. So it was kind of funny that I never met the guy. So
there you go.
But anyway, that's I guess that's.
But and I agree with what Nico said. It's about using technology and bots in this case to, in a way, automate repetitive, routine work steps in the workflow, and then you can actually utilize people's time more on more creative, more demanding tasks than those routine, fill this data every month or whatever it might be.
So but there's a huge, sorry Eemeli to interrupt, there's a huge challenge when doing this, because you have two different types of people. You have the strategic people who are too high above the day-to-day. And then you have the tactical, the ops people who are performing the tasks every day. The strategic layer is the people, they're up here, they're way too focused on the big picture to even get interested in any trivial detail on the grassroots level. So it's very difficult to discuss with them like all these small different things that needs to be done in order to reach a certain goal. I mean, they're not even interested to hear or think about these things. And then when you go to the person who are performing the tasks on a day-to-day, they're way too busy performing the tasks. So they're never thinking about working on the business instead of in the business. So they're too busy to even think about how things could be done better. And not to mention that they don't understand what's happening outside of their box. So if you try to digitalize, you're stuck between this layer of strategic people and tactical people, and you're not welcome in either way. So that's the big challenge that a lot of people are facing with when they're trying to make these changes. And that's why so many digitalization projects fail. Is because they're stuck in the middle and they don't have anyone to speak to.
So does Hailo help to solve these problems?
Yeah, that's what we're working on. So we get everyone on the same platform. So everyone can transparently see see what's going on, and technically they can access information. Of course, you can set boundaries and restrictions, but I always tend to think that the more transparent you can be, the faster you will be able to move, and the more efficient you can be. So this removes human bottlenecks and also like gives this transparency throughout the organization, and also making everything universally understandable. So when you're talking to salespeople about leads, what they look on, like what they see on a screen is the same as when you're talking to someone who's doing claims management or dealing with projects or marketing or something. So you kind of make like a universally understandable user interface for managing all the different data. So that's what we kind of do.
So it's the Hailo is kind of a data and communication platform that you can customize for your workflow, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand anything about IT really.
Yeah,
that's where I started off from, kind of like Richard Branson when he started his first businesses. I mean, that's why it's called Virgin, because he was a virgin in that business, and I feel the exact same way.
I've heard the story.
I feel exact the same way, because I don't understand anything about computers or coding or programming or whatever. But just taking a practical approach to what do I need and what do people need in order to utilize these computers. That's how we started off, and then eventually the team grew. I mean, I think we have 16 developers at the moment.
16. Oh, nice.
Who's writing code almost 24/7.
Yeah.
And still today, I don't understand anything about how they work and how what's happening underneath the bonnet.
Yeah.
But it's all about taking a practical approach to.
Now I guess you guys have 16 people to know what. What that used to be. Why? But how does the Hailo and Lamor fit in together? There's a history, right?
Yeah, there's a history. We started off as an in-house project in Lamor.
Okay.
With one guy who I think he didn't sleep for like 7 months when he started put together the first prototypes.
All right.
And then eventually we realized that it's going to be too expensive to develop with Lamor resources alone, and B, why make something customized for Lamor when we're dealing with a problem that is so generic? I mean, every industry is fighting with this same thing. So we realized that, I mean, spin it out. Lamor is not an IT company, never will be. But digitalization will always be important in Lamor. So kind of made this hybrid.
Yeah. And when was the spin-off?
I think it was in 2016.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the time when we separated the two.
Yeah.
And if I look at it now from as a user, I see Hailo being used in a company, and of course I've seen organizations that doesn't exactly have this kind of platform, but all companies have their CRMs and their ERPs and their manufacturing program platforms, etc. Whatever their business is, Hailo is linking together this information in a very unique way, in a very transparent way. And maybe the most tangible evidence I can see when I compare is that there's very little email traffic in Lamor, internal email traffic.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are certain things that is where email is the best platform and externally for external communication, obviously, but this flow of internal emails is very that magnitude is very different, and I attribute that to the role that Hailo plays in Lamor, and everything being so transparent that you don't need to then write a dear sir letter on your mail.
Yeah, because I guess we've all been on that email list, that all staff emails that keep coming, and then people start answering don't reply all, and then you get like 50 message of don't reply all and such things. But have you used Hailo before?
Not before Lamor, no.
Okay.
It was,
so you're new to the whole Hailo
positive experience so far.
Sorry, one addition to what Magnus said. I think one victory that we have done internally is that people have sort of bought into the benefits of using channels and a platform that sort of guides the communication compared to email, where you just have a subject and a list of people who you add and then you fire something off. That's a victory that we've done internally now. But going forward, and it's very good that we have Business Finland as well, who's supporting this cause. That we want to create this like transparent value chain where we also integrate partners into our processes, so that we make it more efficient to deal with suppliers who we are using on a frequent basis. Our resellers or agents around the world, we can coordinate with them our project, give them certain access to key information, so we don't need to be there as the bottleneck as a person supplying them with this information. And eventually connecting the two and just being the sort of spider in the web, just controlling everything and making sure that everyone gets the right information, but not relying on people writing their source and then making sure that the right people are on the chain. So that's the next steps that we are already looking into.
So do you see that these, let's say the platform like Hailo, how do you think it's going to be directly impacting the sales process? Is it changing the process?
It is already, I would say. It's more collaborative. It can be a tool for team selling. A lot of sales efforts in the world today, particularly if the scopes get bigger, more complex projects or solutions, it requires more people to collaborate. And so it helps that collaborative effort. And like I said, in Lamor we have also decided to engage the sales channels, resellers and agents into it, so it creates that transparency. And again, it's about making sure that you don't need to repeat information, and with the risks of losing part of that information or human errors in that. So the carrier of the information in a transparent way from end to end is already changing how we work in sales. Plus, of course, it's once you're a little bit more data driven in sales, the analytics can help you actually to perform better. And personally, sales analytics is an area where I think will be a huge competitive advantage in any business going forward.
And also integrating marketing as well as the sort of project management when a sales is made. I mean, obviously the sales guy can not relax fully, but related to that case that they have sold, they can sort of pass it on to the back office. But still, the salesperson is the one who will get contacted if something goes wrong or if basically anything happens. So it's important that the sales guy has knowledge on what is going on, and we need to provide the salespeople with the right amount of information. I mean, obviously they can't know everything, because then they would lose their minds. But they need to have enough information from the project side that things are they are taken care of, and if something goes wrong, we can quickly inform the client and make sure that everyone knows about it, so that the damage is minimized. And then another link as well is marketing. I mean, sales and marketing historically has been very separated from each other. But I see that there's a trend that sales and marketing is becoming more intertwined. And a good example of this is, let's say you've been in sales, Eemeli, so you know that collecting business cards and having the contact details and the contacts of the customer is important. But then you need to remember to remind them with an email that you exist, and you need to call them every once in a while. And this is all things that can be automated and passed on to marketing, who are already profiling the market. They understand the products. They are linked in with the different parts of the organization. So if you can just pass on the contact information to the client with certain metadata that describes that this client is interested in this and this, and he wants to be contacted only once a month, and he is interested to learn more about this and this type of information, then you can automatically pass that on to marketing, and you know that when you're the sales guy behind the enemy lines running around meeting new customers, you know that you have the marketing artillery firing emails and Facebook campaigns and whatnot to your clients all the time. So it's actually a supporting function to what you're actually doing, rather than something that you kind of have to have because marketing is an important part of every company, but nobody knows why.
I guess that's the challenge, is that people really don't know what the marketing people are doing and how to really utilize the power that, like you said, that they can actually help the sales force to achieve their goals, and to let the salespeople just do their work as a sales people, and then let the digitalization and the marketing tools or the communication tools to help provide the right kind of information to the customers and so on. So
exactly, and in sales, it's always about trying to optimize where you spend the time. But of course, we need to develop, the beginning of the funnel and of course get deals out of that funnel. But using these kind of tools and automated marketing can increase the efficiency, simply speaking, and free up some time. Time from sales.
Very interesting. I need to look into this Hailo more and then try to learn more on how to start using it. But
check out Hailo.com and sign up for a free trial.
Definitely. So thank you, gentlemen. It's been my pleasure to talk to you, and hope to see you again on this podcast channel.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Eemeli.
Great. Thank you.